When you know who you are, you'll defeat giants that are much bigger. You may be facing situations now that you don't see how they could work out. You could live worried, stressed. You have to shift your perspective from the how to the who. Who you are is more powerful than any force trying to stop you. You're not just anyone, you belong to the Most High God. He breathed life into you. He chose you. And the good news is, He's backing you up. He has the hows already figured out. There's no giant too big for Him, no sickness too great, no addiction too powerful, no obstacle too strong. Like David, you may not see the how. That's okay. The how is not up to you. When you know who you are, you live from a place of faith, a place of trust, a place of confidence, then you're going to see God show out in your life. You don't have to have big resources, big talent, big connections. God will take your slingshot, what seems small, and put His favor on it, and you will defeat great giants. It's not so much what you have, it's the blessing on what you have. It's the favor on what you have. Where does that come from? Your talent? Your family? From being good enough? No, it comes from who you are. When God created you, He put His blessing on you. He put His favor. Now quit trying to figure out all the hows and rest in the who. I heard about these baby cub bears. They were out in the woods playing, having fun, when this pack of wolves came out of nowhere and started toward them. The cubs saw the wolves out in the distance, but they didn't get alarmed. They didn't take off running. It seemed like they were naive, like they were about to be harmed, but it didn't bother them. When the wolves got about 20 yards away, out of nowhere came this huge mama bear with her paws up in the air, growling forcefully, just like she was saying, "Come on, make my day." Those wolves stopped in their tracks, turned around, and went back to where they came from. The reason the cubs weren't upset, the reason they didn't panic, is they knew who they belonged to. They didn't worry about the how they were going to stay safe, how they were not going to be harmed. They knew Mama would take care of the how. You may have things coming against you, but you're not on your own. Because of who you are, you can stay in peace. Not because Mama Bear is backing you up, but because the Most High God has your back. He's watching over you. He's pushing back forces of darkness. He's not allowing that sickness to take you out. He's not letting those people keep you down. They may have shown up, but God sees it. He knows what's happening, and He is on His way. Quit worrying. Quit losing sleep. God has you in the palm of His hand.
Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you can make a living, which is fine. If you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune, which is super fine. I started hearing those ideas age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life. First, I was excited about the product because my mother had studied health and nutrition all of my life. I was the beneficiary. So was my father, who lived to be 93. And then to discover it as a product and a business blew my mind. Then when I found out you could get rich with using just a few simple philosophies. Here's the first one that helped me get rich. Profits are better than wages. That changed my whole look at the economy, the look at myself, my paycheck. It was incredible. And then my sponsor said to me, "Mr. Rohn, here's what you can now say. I'm working full-time on my job, and now I'm working part-time on my fortune." Those ideas drastically changed the course of my life. Guess what it did? Set for me a new attitude and philosophy. So make this note now. Philosophy determines attitude. If you have the philosophy and the attitude that here's my chance, even starting part-time, to invest in the idea of fortune making, because you can lay the foundation for fortune making. You don't have to do it 8 hours a day. You don't have to do it 10. It's not something that requires working around the clock. It just requires simply a commitment. Here's what I did. I started part-time. That's the magic. So make this note. Teach people the magic of starting to work part-time, not just to pay a few bills, that's okay, but How about the idea of working part-time fortune making? It changes everything. It changes how you talk. It changes how you invite. It changes how you treat your customers. It changes how you have respect for your distributors, laying the foundation for a career and then a fortune. It changes everything, your philosophy and your attitude. Then the idea of maximizing your part-time. Here's what I think I've discovered with those that have decided to work part-time. They've told us they were going to work 10, 15 hours a week, but here's what happens. They become part-time distributors. So I think here's what we ought to try to teach. Let's go full-time, part-time. If you're going to dedicate 10 or 15 hours, a week to the business, just fill up those hours with activity and phone calls and flyers and on the internet. It doesn't matter what you do. Start making the contacts, but fill up that 10, 15 hours.
The thing that grinds my gears is when you see people tend to complain and not appreciate things until they almost lose it. Or when you see somebody, they show up in an environment and they count the hours and they don't make the hours count. Or you see people and they don't realize somebody that woke up this morning, they're not gonna live to see the night. Right? You see it all around. Life is happening. Adversity is happening. And you see people that just walk around and because of success, they feel as if I can't get touched. Right? They feel as if nothing can happen to me. And I told a kid, son, wake up call. Newsflash, life touches everybody. I said, I can guarantee you how strong you are, how beautiful you are. My grandmother told it to me this way. Inky, either you're in the midst of adversity, just came out of adversity, or you're about to head into some adversity. So you better be prepared for it either way. And so I lived my life in such a way. I was telling them about this concept of this book that's called Last Arrow, right? By this pastor, and he was talking about when you do things, don't save your last arrow, right? Don't live life on reserve. Don't go into an environment thinking, I'm just going to preserve myself and not give everything I got to it. The thing that saved my life, September 9th, 2006, the third best day of my life, outside of marrying my wife and having my 2 children. It was one of the most beautiful moments that was set up for this dream that was about to manifest, and it turned into a tragic moment that birthed something more beautiful than I could ever imagine. I'm in the position to where my dream is about to manifest. I got the paperwork by all accounts that say my dream of being an NFL draft pick is about to happen. It said it. Top of the paper said, projected top 30 draft pick as a cornerback. They told me, all your hard work, all you got to do is play your next 10 football games, Inky, you're automatic multimillionaire. I'm at Tennessee, and there was gravy train. I'm like, man, you get anything you want. And all you got to do is be a person of your word. All you got to do is have character. All you got to do is go to class, you show up, you do your work, you be on time, and you do the things you say you're going to do. That's gravy for me. When I first stepped on campus, they said, what's your plan? I said, it's simple. Graduate in 3 years and go to the NFL. And I'm sitting in the team room on my 3rd year and watching film. It was 2 big projector screens. And I'm on track to graduate in 3 years, and I'm on track to go to the NFL after my 3rd year. And I come out in a silly football game. I've been in a lot harder collision, a silly game. And I go and make 1 tackle. At the end of the game is about to be over. If I make this tackle, the game is about to end.